Today is the 25th of September, the day of the witches' Black Mass. It is my version of my seventh day when I rest from my tedious duties in hell and get to breath the fresh air of earth. And still perform duties of hell on surface pretty much. Today let us commemorate my day of remembrance as the official day of the beginning of All Hallows Eve, or Samhain's Day. For today is the day in which the spirit of evil is loosed upon the earth and the gateway into the dominion of evil is opened for a 30-day period in which Samhain and his minions walk the earth, wreaking havoc and chaos upon the mortal world by bringing the displays of the wages of sin to be displayed to hearts of the wicked if they continue their paths, and collect the souls of those who would not stray from their dark ways and died sinful deaths unrepentant sinners. This specific date marks the death of a former life that inspired the novel Sleepy Hollow, as the author had happened upon a sinister graveyard with an ominous tombstone that he was told was the resting place of the very incarnate of the devil himself, who was burned at the stake in 1865 AD. The grave gave him the inspiration of the headless horseman of his tale. The legend, however, went on to become the center of black mass of American devil worshipping and witchcraft, which incorporated many different world religions at that time, for many cultures were mixed in the colonial Americas. So many of the European beliefs became centered around the American beliefs. However, wrap your head around this cog in the machine if you dare. First you must understand what the devil is. The biblical, Christian and Catholic reputation is only one part of the devil. Evil comes in many forms. But the ultimate compiled multicultural summarized definition of the devil is that he is the ultimate repercussion for mankind's sins against himself and those around him. An ultimate fate caused by mankind's recession in cultural evolution. The byproduct of, say for example, the society at large mankind has become. The devil is the ultimate fairy tale monster become real from a byproduct of its own design that finally had enough and went that extra mile to become whatever is necessary to end that which made it. Whatever the cost, it knows no limits. The devil is whatever you think he might be in your own conception of extreme possibilities, and you will find him always just beyond what you had conceived, just beyond the limits of imagination, maintaining that extreme composure. And that concept is what perpetuates the eternal fear in him, for we fear what we can't understand. But that is only him in definition as best that is possible. So you see, the devil is inevitable and cannot be stopped from becoming who he is. And the best part is the devil doesn't need anyone to believe in him to do what he does. In fact, the only thing that might help him is that you believe the lies he promotes to avert attention from him while he works. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was making the world believe he didn't exist when they all knew he was standing right before them. Now, do you wish to reaffirm your prior statement, or should we continue on with the show's main event? Oh, and spoiler alert, this part of the show always ends with someone dead. We don't want someone giving away the magician's secrets. That would jeopardize the act now, wouldn't it? Someone once asked, their tone so cold, will I ever return to walk the earth so bold? Yes, I will walk again, I am told. In the days of futures past, truth be told. On shadow gold of legends told. I tell you now as the oracles of old. I shall return, oh yes I shall, in the days of old forgotten vows. Though I walk amongst you here and now, when my last breath comes to collect what's sold, whisked away my spirit shall unfold, as I'm carried off in the tones of old, to the days of wizards and goblins, or so I'm told, who walk the earth in days of old, the living shadow of the nights of old, for I am the source of its soul's soul. Poetry, they say, has always been one of my gifted qualities. But this year, boys and ghouls, we have an extra special treat. Let's gather around as Grandma Baba Yaga tells us of a Grimm's tale that needs salt tales. In fact, I won't even give you any clues to what it's about, only that it's an epic tale of witness. Take it away, you old coot. The final conflict is over and it was truly epic. Let me tell you the tale of what has transpired, for it was better than IMAX, and I had a front row seat as the angel Apollyon. I looked upon the land and saw the spirits of the damned everywhere I turned, people who knocked upon my door, people who called my phone. people who commented on my YouTube, all seeking to damn me in the Lord's days and ways of the angelic laws that they constantly questioned and acted as if innocently questioning for the sake of curious faith, but behind them were the sinister plans of the damned, gathering information for their assault on the angelic forces on earth. Finally, I had enough of their taunting my name, denying my title of being Lucifer, so I did the one thing only Lucifer could do. I opened the very gates of hell at my will. Only the very fabrics of hell itself would obey the will of Lucifer himself. I called forth the 7 fallen angels who were given the duty over the dominions of the earth until the day of judgment, and commanded them to perform their sacred task that had been secretly given them for their dominions together made the eternal chains that would bind the deceiver of nations, that old serpent, who was Satan, from which the keel would come and grab hold of them and cast their joint dominions nexus into the lake of fire. I opened my Necronomicon and opened the 9 gates of Tiamat that lead into the bottomless pit, and held them open while I explained the identity of the deceiver, and revealed him to the fallen ones, that Sargon of Akkad had fastened his spirit onto the tablets of Thoth his priest had carried through the centuries like Annabelle's doll, his physical hold on the mortal realm, that his spirit had been tainting the world as Satan had deceived the prophet Muhammad as a false Allah, Elibis, bringing suffering to many among many others, but using his false birth tablets to deceive the world as a false prophet like that of Moses found in a basket floating downstream as an infant, seeming as if he was like him at birth, and his benevolent rise to the throne of Assyria, all lies and testament to his title as the deceiver of nations, which the 7 fallen one descended, which much anticipated patience in awaiting this moment upon the tablets of Thoth. Sargon's spirit tried as he screamed that he thought I above all others would save him. I told him, no, it is true, this was not the right way. To condemn one would mean to condemn any for any given reason, but I had no choice. I had to have faith and do my duty and trust in the Lord that he knew what he was doing, for this was his will and it must be for a good reason that is just not understood right now. I grabbed a hold of his soul and crashed through each of the 9 gates of Tiamat that moves downward like a tower, with the 7 fallen angels' sigils following closely behind like streamers. At the bottom was a fire hotter than like that of the core of the earth that swallowed him whole. He screamed for a moment and then silence. His spirit was no more. The other 7 fallen ones started in shock and horror, and Azazel whispered, "It is the second day." Samael shuddered and said, "Let us speed on from this place upon him." I closed each gate one by one, each one slamming closed as we ascended upwards. The ground below us filling in like the Cave of Wonders from the movie Aladdin as he escaped with the lamp, until we finally reached the last gate on the surface. I threw the 7 fallen ones' sigils onto the surface and used my wings to unjam myself from the sands of the surface. I was stuck slightly below. I dismissed each of the 7 fallen sigils back to their respective positions. Armegeddon was finished. Now comes the clean-up.
For when the stars come right, he shall rise from his ancient tomb to signal their return. Then shall the ancient ones, long ago banished to the outer spheres, break free from their prisons and plunge from the stars to claim the earth once more. For those who lurk at the threshold of our world are ever vigilant for the time of their return.